Hello students, welcome to the class. In this video, we'll be looking into the grammar component of Unit 3 of Semester 2 syllabus, that is about writing formal letters. Now, formal letters, as the name suggests, is written in a formal or official context. Examples of formal letters are those written as part of business transactions, application letters, letters of inquiry, letters to the editor, or letters written to one's colleagues on matters concerning work. Now, this tells us that formal letters have a specific purpose and they're written in a specific pattern and a specific language is used. There can be many types of formal letter, like letters to the editor, letters to government, letter to police, or order letters or complaint letter, inquiry letters, or business letters, or letters as applications for job, or invitation letters, or even leave application letters. Now, this means that all of these letters follow a specific purpose, have a specific purpose, follow a specific pattern, and also use some specific language. Now, let's look at the layout of a formal letter. Now, as you observe, the formal letter consists of many parts which are crucial. The first part is the sender's address. Now, sender's address is placed on the right or left hand corner of the page, depending on the format used. The date, again, is placed below the sender's address, as in the case of personal letters. Now, then the inside address or the address of the receiver is placed on the left side. The inside address or the addressee is not punctuated, and each line of the address begins on the left margin. Then you have a subject line. This part is a feature of all kinds of formal letters. It is a brief statement of the subject of the letter or what it is about, and it is placed below the salutation, or above the salutation. Then you have the salutation, the addressing part. Generally, in a formal letter, we use sir or dear sir. And then we have the body of the letter. This is the main part of the letter, and the contents should be brief, precise, and complete. Now you can have an introductory paragraph, then the main content, and then a little paragraph about the conclusion. Then comes the complimentary clause, thanking you or regards, phrases like that. And then you have the subscription, yours faithfully or yours sincerely or yours truly. And then the sender's name on and his address or his designation is placed. Now let's look at some details of what we need to write in each section. Now, when you consider the sender's address, it has to be complete in many respects, like your address, your contact info, email, or even telephone. Then the date. And then receiver's address is written in complete or full, and even if there is a reference number, it's also written. Now, generally, if in the salutation part, if the name is unknown, we use sir or madam. And if it's known, you write either dear sir or write dear Mr. Mohan. Now, coming to the body, it may be appropriate to start to have a subject line and also sometimes a reference line quoting the previous letter or communication. Now, in the body of a formal letter, we do not use contracted forms. That is, we do not use can't, won't, shouldn't, shan't, or couldn't or wouldn't, but we write all words in full. We use formal standard English, that is no slang words, when we write a formal letter. And we need to keep the sentences precise and get straight to the point. If complaining, we need to use polite and intelligent vocabulary. Now, at the conclusive paragraph, We need to sum up our main point and state that we look forward to your response to the letter. So we need to use phrases like thank you in advance, thank you for taking time to respond to my letter, and so on. And finally, in the close, we use yours faithfully if the greeting is to sir or madam, or if you're writing the name of the person, you use yours sincerely. Now here is an example of a official letter. As you find, the information of the contact, the sender's address is at the top, then the date, and then the address of the receiver, then the greeting, and the body of the letter. As you observe, the body of the letter is actually divided into three parts: the opening remarks, and then the main section, and then the closing remarks. And finally, you have the complimentary close, thanks and best wishes, and finally the signature. Now, in the case of formal letters, when we write the salutation, the generally we use like expressions like dear sir or madam, dear madam, or dear Mr. Trunk, or dear Miss Root, or dear Mrs. Branch, or dear Dr. Akon. And the subscription, or the last part of the letter, is generally we use yours faithfully when you're writing to say sir or madam, addressing sir or madam in the salutation. Or if you're using names, you can use yours sincerely. Okay, now let's try to look at some phrases which will be helpful for us when we write a formal letter. Now this will help us as you write a real formal letter. Now, the beginning and ending. So, if you use like dear sir or dear madam, the ending has to be yours faithfully. And if you're using the beginning as dear Miss Johnson or dear Mr. Johnson, the ending can be yours sincerely. Now, in any formal letter, the opening paragraph should contain the reasons for writing. So we can use phrases like I'm writing in answer to your letter, or I'm writing to inquire about, I'm writing to thank you for, or I'm writing to express or dissatisfaction with, or I'm writing following recent telephonic conversation, or you can use I'm writing to, or so on. And then in any formal letter, we give the background to the letter. So you can use the phrases like as you may know, or as you will recall, or recently. Phrases such will help us to put the background into the. Then we can also use other phrases like as a result of this, or consequently. And we can also talk about the future steps like what I propose is, we would appreciate if, we would be grateful if you could, in order to resolve this matter, we suggest or I suggest that, right? And good formal letters do have phrases to indicate further communication, like I'm looking forward to hearing from you, I look forward to receiving from you, or please do not hesitate to contact us, and so on. And finally, we sign off the complimentary close. So you can use expressions like thank you for understanding, um, I hope you find this solution satisfactory, and so on. Right. So there can be many other expressions that we can use in the writing of a formal letter. One thing we always need to remember is it should follow the specific pattern. It should we should be using the specific language, that is formal language, and the purpose has to be clearly stated. Now this is how we write formal letters. Hope this was helpful. Keep watching the videos and we'll meet in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.